Good evening, and thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the candidates running for office to represent you. My name is Kim Gammond, and I am the Executive Director for the City Club of Central Oregon. If you'd like more information about this candidate forum or any of our other forums, please visit us at cityclubco.org. We are a passionately nonpartisan organization that is here to inform the voters through these forums. All candidates were invited to participate in this forum and given instructions about guidelines and codes of conduct. At City Club, our mission is to build a conscious and civic-minded community that results in responsible civic engagement. We do this through community forums, utilizing the tools of civility to promote productive and safe conversation. You can learn more at cityclubco.org.
Hi, I'm Brooke Snavely from Central Oregon Daily. It's my pleasure to be moderator for this 2022 Jefferson County Commission Position 1 Forum. Today we have challenger Mark Wunsch with us. I'm pronouncing that correctly, Mark? It's Wunsch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
you are. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Well, incumbent Mae Huston and Laurie Danzuka-Cancelled attending this forum. So in this race, if one candidate gets over 50% of the vote, they will be elected. If no candidate hits that 50% mark, the top two candidates will face each other in November. So Mark, let's go ahead with you. It's all about you because you're the one who's here today. Let's start with your opening remarks, and let's try and do that in a minute.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll try and keep this short and sweet. Mark Wunsch, I was born and raised here in Jefferson County. Currently working on a 4th generation ranch and have the business and all the undertakings of a business operation that I'm working on. Went to college and graduated from Oregon State University with a general ag degree, and some of the reasons I want to be a commissioner, Jefferson County commissioner, is I see some of the struggles in ag all across the county, and want to be able to serve and represent them, something that Jefferson County hasn't had firsthand experience in 24 years. And I feel very passionate about the industry. But there's a few other things that are near and dear to my heart that we're going to have to focus on is inflation and some of the housing and industry concerns that we're going to have to address, as well as many other things. So,
well, Mark, if you had been elected to this position during the height of the COVID-19 response and restrictions, what might you have done differently or the same as the current commission?
I think a lot of that just goes back to, I mean, as a commissioner, we got staff hired in different departments, and Dr. Mike Baker is part of the public health department and the lead on that, and he has the expertise for the county, and I think just working with him and doing what his suggestions are. I mean, I'm not gonna speak in the understanding that I know everything about health and what the public safety should be. I think that's where our department heads focus are and their expertise, and so kind of helping facilitate that with their lead, and then if there are any suggestions, sitting down with those department heads and making the public's voice heard. But following the direction of the department lead, because that's their kind of job, and that's what we've hired them to do, is have that expertise opinion. So yeah.
Next question. What can the county do to improve traffic safety?
I think it's a long-term vision, and you got to look at things at a short stint, but also look at the future. We're growing as a county, and we're getting a lot of traffic on the state highways. And I think a lot of that is just working with ODOT and kind of demanding some support. We got so much traffic coming through the heart of Jefferson County down 90, 97 and 26. And we need the state's help. It's hard to get on those highways, especially when it's peak time in the summer, and then just kind of the speed and unsafe driving hazards of people on those highways, and we just need to kind of put some pressure on ODOT to focus on this county and our needs to keep our citizens safe and the state citizens safe. with all this traffic. So.
Okay, how can Jefferson County help reduce wildfire risks to the community?
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just we need to make sure that we're managing the lands properly, and I think that starts with grazing, whether it's cattle, sheep, goats, whatever it is. We need to be managing our understory grasses and forbs, but kind of have a longer vision. The county's really been inundated by juniper trees, and I think we need to have some goals of how can we mitigate and reduce those numbers, because it is such a driving force and fuel it's a big fuel when a fire does get started. And so we need to work on some paths to reduce those and maybe get some revenue by cleaning up some of those juniper trees and have some fire breaks and then working together. There's a lot of rural communities and houses that are in some sagebrush juniper areas, and how can they protect their homes and get some of those funding dollars there to help assist some of those homeowners. So it's a big topic, but I think we can work on a direction to help eliminate some of those risks.
Thank you. How can the county help increase workforce housing?
So there's a big problem, especially in Jefferson County, and a lot of that is getting, I would say, almost shoved down our throats from Deschutes and Crook County. I mean, a lot of the industries and businesses are booming so much in those two counties, but the housing market to our neighboring South counties are quite a bit higher. So it entices people to buy houses here in Jefferson County, and I don't think we're ready as a county. We haven't facilitated our cities, and on the county level, we haven't done an appropriate job for this big influx and be prepared. And so we're kind of at a housing crisis. And so what kind of options can we do in a short term to make sure people have safe places to live, whether it's in a structure or an RV or something like that. So we need some short-term goals as well as some long-term goals, because the growth is coming whether we like it or not, and we need to make sure that we're ready for that in a timely manner. So.
Very good. Do me a favor and keep tilting the camera down a little lower. We're getting more roof than anything in the shot. But we see a lot of these interviews from cars, so it's normal.
Yeah.
It's nothing going to surprise people. Do you think there's enough transparency and ability for residents to participate in local government?
That's kind of a good question. I think it's something that you can never accept where we are. I think we can always do a better job being transparent, letting the community know what's going on, what's coming up. I know if we had some options that are straightforward, especially on the county website, is, hey, this is what's going on in the whole county rather than department by department. If we had some information where people can just go on the main page and see what's going on and see what they want to be involved in, and promoting that. We need to make sure that our local citizens are involved when they want to be, and feel important and feel a part of the process. I think everyone feels a lot better when they can have their 2 cents put in, and be a part of something bigger than just themselves. And so I think we need to do a better job, regardless of where we're at. We should always strive to do better, especially with some of the technology options. We have that capability. And so I think we can make some bigger steps to help with that.
Okay. Jefferson County is facing a drought yet again this year. How can the county help manage and support those impacted by this crisis?
I don't know, but can I just...
Yeah, I think the big thing is trying to get some money, some funds from the state and federal government. It is a natural disaster, and if anyone has seen some of the drought monitors across the West, the whole West is in a drought. But I think a lot of people don't realize that Jefferson County, Cook County, Deschutes County, there's a little kind of pocket here in Central Oregon, and then I think there's another pocket maybe in Arizona or something that have been in an exceptional drought for the third year in a row, which exceptional drought is the most severe drought that the government kind of lists. And so we're kind of at the eye of the storm here. And so it is a natural disaster, and we need to make sure that we're getting funding to help survive, first and foremost, and then kind of mitigate. I mean, there's some water issues with endangered species that we can help with, but the major thing is the drought, and we just need to survive, make sure that we're supporting our local farmers and ranchers, to keep them in business, and help our neighbors. So we're reliant on our neighbors rather than industries that may be clear across the country or in other countries. We need to support local with that.
Well, this leads well to the next question. Do you think Jefferson County is a welcoming community?
Yeah, I think we are. We got a lot of opportunities as far as ag and natural resource, some recreation. I think everyone's kind of set in their ways a little bit, but I feel like we're very welcoming in the fact that we have a lot to offer, a lot of beauty, a lot of landscape, recreational opportunities, and I feel like the citizens as a whole want to share that in a maybe strategical manner, but they want to let everyone know why we love our county. And I kind of reference back to when we had the eclipse come through the area. We had a bunch of campers north of Madras, and just to see how many people that were lined up along Highway 26 taking pictures of the sunset of Mount Jefferson, and just the awe of these people that don't get to see it every day. And I feel like we were very welcoming as a county for all those people that came in. And so, yeah, I think we are as a whole very welcoming.
Well, we are speaking with Jefferson County Commission candidate Mark Wunsch right now on this forum, and we're about halfway through here. I just want to give Mark a chance to catch his breath because he's been doing all the talking since the other candidates did not participate today, elected not to. Mark, how can the rural counties have a larger voice at the state level?
I think it goes down to working together. In this past short session in Salem, I think the rural counties really didn't get a whole lot out of it, which is kind of disappointing. We are part of Oregon, and we just want our share of our tax revenue back in our county to help serve our people. And so a big part of that is working together as the rural counties, whether you're a commissioner or a representative or a senator, sitting down at the table and saying, hey, what do we need as a group? What would we like to see? And working together and supporting one another. And by having a lot of connections across Eastern Oregon that are either in those positions already or have some pull to talk to those people in those positions, I think gives me a good leg up in the situation to go over to Salem and advocate for the needs that we have over here on this side of the mountain. And I guess go back to, those are our dollars too. And we need to make sure that those dollars come here and support the citizens on this side of the mountain as well. So.
What changes would you like to see if you're elected?
I don't know. It's kind of an open-ended question there. I think a lot of it just comes down to supporting my neighbors and my fellow citizens. We have, as we've seen the last 2 years, there's been a lot of changes and a lot of uncertainty that has gone on nationwide. And we don't know what's going to come up in the next 2 years or 4 years. And so just being prepared for whatever may or may not come up for our county and maybe our state and nation as well. But I think when we're making decisions on a day-to-day basis, we need to make sure that we're solving the problem at hand, whatever it is, and accomplishing a short-term goal. But we need to make sure that that decision is methodical and thought out and understand what that decision is going to affect our community in the next 10, 15, 20 years, and making sure our future generations are set up for success. I guess that would be the biggest thing is we need to make sure that we're solving our problems today, but our future generations have a chance of being successful. So.
You alluded to changes. So let me ask, what positive changes, negative changes have you seen in the community since you've lived there, and you've lived there a long time?
Yeah, no. So I've lived here 33 years now, and it's evolved a lot. I mean, it's grown. So I'm actually from a rural kind of corner of Jefferson County, where Grizzly Valley, where there's not a whole lot of people. So in that area, it hasn't changed a lot, but some of the other areas, populations changed a lot, growth, business-wise. But I think a lot of that comes down to our leadership. Like, we need to make sure that our leadership is strong, that our leadership understands the values and the core beliefs of this county, and understand why we love living in this county. And so I'd like to see a little more focus on hiring local, supporting local, because they're our community, and we need to make sure that we're pulling our leaders from this community if we have some qualified candidates, supporting local businesses, and kind of keeping an economic engine running, and turning over as much as possible. So I guess those are some of the things that I'd like to see. So
Jefferson County is pretty unique in that it's fairly evenly divided demographically between Native Americans, Hispanics, and white populations. Mm-hmm. And how do you think the county can celebrate that diversity?
Yeah, and it is very unique. And growing up here, it's been something that I don't know if I take for granted or just kind of used to. I mean, when you grow up into a culture or a community that has that, you don't really see anything else. I mean, that's the image you see and you're used to. And I know we've done some stuff in the past to support all the cultures, and we continue to do. And I know the school does quite a few assemblies to celebrate cultures. We did a community event. It's been quite a few years ago. We did the collage of culture, and I don't understand why that necessarily went away. But there's lots of events that this community does to celebrate the different cultures, and help teach or educate maybe new citizens to the area what we are as Jefferson County, and some of the core beliefs and values and traditions that we have, so they understand what we're about. So
good. We touched on it earlier, but here's a specific question aimed at tourism and the impact of tourism. Mm-hmm. Jefferson County, I think specifically of Lake Chinook, it's a huge recreation destination.
Yep.
Do you consider that tourism activity good for the county? And how would you, as a commissioner, balance those services between tourists and residents?
Yeah, no, I think that's a difficult question to answer, because of some of the landscape issues being down in that hole a little bit, it's hard to make parking and boat ramps and some of those things. And then just the square footage of the lake is only so big. And so you can kind of get into some safety issues. I know there's been times where I've gone down there on 4th of July and it's just crazy. There's just boats everywhere, and some of the safety factors have an issue on that. So I don't know if necessarily growth is good, because you do have limitations on your natural resource, which is the lake. But I know there's a lot of locals that struggle with the fact that, hey, this is one of our recreation areas, and we get kind of inundated by people from the Valley or Washington or California, especially on holiday weekends, and we don't really get to enjoy that asset that we have in the county. And so I don't know, there is a big balancing act there. There is some revenue pushed to the county by having people come in, and we just need to make sure that we're focusing on, when they do come to the county, that they're spending their dollar here, whether it's in a business or a restaurant, while they're here at the lake, that they're spending some dollars here to help fund some of the businesses. So
very, very good. Mark, we're at an end. If you are so possessed, let's have some closing remarks. And thank you for participating.
So I guess I'll just kind of talk about a few things that didn't get to in the introductory minute. So a little background, I've worked for quite a few farmers in the area in the North Unit Irrigation Project. Know most of the commercial farmers there, firsthand experience, and understand some of the irrigation problems with the drought and whatnot. Just kind of a diversity. I mean, I got my own business that I've been running since I was in high school, and kind of developed that up into some forest management, land restoration. Very passionate about ag and natural resource. And I hope that passion kind of comes through to all the viewers, that passion goes with everything I do. And along with that, when I decided to run for county commissioner, I've attended all the commissioner meetings, budget meetings, planning commission meetings, just trying to get a good understanding and get my feet wet of what the job entails. And so that when I am elected, that I have a good understanding of the day-to-day business, and I can get into the depth of some issues, rather than just trying to learn the job the first year. And so I've done my research, and continue to do my research on that end. And then probably the last thing I just kind of wanted to share with everyone was some of my work with Jefferson County Livestock Association and Oregon Cattlemen's Association on the state level. Locally here, we sponsor or put on the 4-H and FFA auction for Jefferson County, and helping serve those kids with their business opportunities with their projects, and just kind of teach those kids what the future is going to entail, and educate them and prepare them for the future. And so it kind of goes back to, as a commissioner, I want to make sure that we're making decisions for the now, but also for the future. So I just want to thank you guys for your time, and would appreciate any votes to help the future of this county, by me being your commissioner. So,
Mark, thank you very much for participating. This is Mark Wunsch, who is one of 3 candidates for Jefferson County Commission Position 1. And reminder that your voice matters, and to vote by May 17th. I'm Brooke Snavely from Central Oregon Daily News, and on behalf of the candidates, the City Club of Central Oregon and Connect Central Oregon, thank you all for listening and watching today.